Welcome back to RotoWire, welcome back to another video. In this one we're going to have a look at the fixture difficulty analyzer and have a look at what teams to target over the coming weeks. I know that a lot of you guys are on wildcard, so these are the teams you want to be looking at players from, so let's get into it. Right, I've got the fixture analyzer at the top here, and as you can see, Leeds are top of the table. Now, yes, Leeds are a promoted team, however, they've actually been quite good this season. Defensively, they looked okay, and going forward, they've been creating a lot of chances. And as you can see fixture-wise, it's Burnley up next, then it's West Ham, and then a couple of games after that, it's Nottingham Forest. Probably 3 of the 4 or 5 worst defences at the moment in the league. I mean, that Nottingham Forest fixture is a while away. Ange might have been sacked by then. Hopefully not if you've got these Leeds guys, because anytime you're facing an Ange defence, you are absolutely laughing if you've got attackers from the teams. So Leeds, there isn't too many guys that we're looking at. I mean, Stack is a nice enabler at 5 million in the midfield. But besides that, I think the 2 guys on screen are the ones we want to be looking at. Now, first off, Joao, he is a 4 million defender. We like these 4 million defenders now. He is pretty good for defensive contributions. He's not like Senesi, Tarkowski, Richards, Anderson good, but you're not expecting him to be for 4 million. If you're owning a 4 million defender, you're only ever going to play them once every few games. You're not going to play him every single week. And Joe Rodon can more than fill in when you need him to in these nice fixtures. So he is definitely a 4 million defender to include on your wild card. Now, the next player we're looking at is a bit of a controversial one. Dominic Calvert-Lewin. He's a bit of an FPL troll as such, if you want to call him that. In the last few seasons, we've seen that people have owned him, myself included, and been absolutely burned because we've held on to him for too long. It's not even the problem of chances being created for him. He just hasn't had his finishing boots in the last couple of years. And honestly, the last couple of weeks, every time I've watched any part of any Leeds game or Leeds highlights or anything, they are creating so many chances for him. Now, admittedly, he's not scoring most of these chances, but I just don't think that can continue for a Premier League level striker. Now, some may say that Calvert-Lewin isn't that anymore. I still believe he is. He's taken one of the chances pretty well. And if Leeds keep creating enough chances for him with these good fixtures, I kind of think he's going to be a really, really good budget option at 5.5 million. And because he's such a budget option, you only need to play him in these good fixtures. He can be a third forward for you. So it's not like you need to play him every single week. He could even be on penalties as well. I just think that he's a pretty good budget option. Now, next up is Liverpool. The 2 guys on screen are the ones that I want to talk about. But fixtures wise, they've got Man United up next, who don't look great defensively. Then it's Brentford, who look awful defensively. Then it's Villa, who haven't been that great. City, and then a lovely fixture against Nottingham Forest. However, that is in 5 weeks' time. I think that's actually after another international break. So there's every chance that Ange could be gone by then, unfortunately. But Liverpool haven't been at their best recently. They've lost the last 2 games, and defensively they've looked a bit suspect. However, Virgil van Dijk is still definitely a player that we want to be targeting. He's really good for defensive contributions. Minutes-wise, we know he's just going to be absolutely fine. And he is a massive threat in the box, a huge threat from these set pieces. The other option I've got on screen here is Isak. Now, it's pretty difficult to decide between any of the forwards, really. I mean, I actually kind of like Szoboszlai as an option, given that you kind of know he's going to get really good minutes. All of the other attackers, you're kind of unsure on their minutes besides Salah. So the likes of Wirtz, Isak, Ekitike, Gakpo, they're all kind of playing for 3 spots, sometimes even 2 spots if Szoboszlai plays as the number 10. So minutes-wise, I'm not sure you're going to get 90 minutes every single game from any of them. However, Isak does seem like he'll start probably more often than not. Ekitike started the season really well, of course. But Liverpool didn't spend that much money on Isak to not play him. And obviously, Liverpool will have a lot of fixtures over the coming weeks, given they've got Champions League stuff as well. But I still think Isak gets enough minutes to potentially be a good option. It's not like there's loads of good forwards about at the moment either. So if you can use a forward slot on him, then that's even better. Salah is, of course, there as an option. However, I just don't think he's performing like a 14-point what is he now, 14.4 million midfielder. I don't think you can be spending that sort of money on him at the moment. Isak is probably the one I'd go for if you're going for one, but I completely get it if you want to avoid all of them due to the minutes risk, to be honest. Okay, moving on to the third team on this list, and it's West Ham. Now, they've got Brentford up next, as you can see. Then it's Leeds, as we mentioned, and then they also play Burnley in a few weeks as well. So they've got 3 really nice fixtures within the next 5 games. Now, obviously, they've been really, really bad this season. However, most of that was under Graham Potter. I'm not sure we're going to see them continue to be that bad. Don't get me wrong, I don't think they're going to be like an unbelievable team. But with good fixtures, there are players we can target. Now, Juve is one of them. As you can see, he is on screen. He's 4.4 million right now, and he is so dangerous with his crosses. His crosses are lethal. Absolutely pinpoint. We've seen it in pre-season. We've seen it in the games already in the Premier League. If you don't want to go for these defensive contribution guys, which you can go for some of them, but you can also still go for a cheap defender with attacking threat, and that is Juve. We've also got Jarrod Bowen. We know what Jarrod Bowen can do. If West Ham are going to score any amount of goals, he will take a large share of them. He is just the talisman for this team. He's not too expensive either, and I just think there is, as we mentioned, a real lack of forwards at the moment. So I think taking a punt on a Jarrod Bowen for the next 3-4 weeks isn't really a bad option, given that there really is a lack of forwards. So West Ham players are definitely a place you can look. Also, Chelsea. Now, these guys are a little bit controversial at the moment. So the fixtures are Nottingham Forest this week. Fantastic fixture. Obviously, we mentioned Ange is in charge. You can target Ange. Then it's Sunderland, who have been pretty good defensively so far this season. Then it's Spurs, not such a great fixture. Then Wolves, then Burnley. The fixtures are brilliant for the next 5. It looks like Cole Palmer is going to be out till at least the next international break, which is 4 game weeks. So Forest, Sunderland, Spurs and Wolves, it looks like he's going to miss all of those games. It's not really been confirmed, but it's quite likely that he is going to miss those games. So that means that they need a penalty taker and somebody else will be taking the penalties. Enzo Fernandez took the last one when Palmer was off the pitch. Enzo Fernandez is also pretty high up in the non-penalty XG. He's in the top 10 players this season for non-penalty XG. He is playing in a really, really attacking role for Chelsea. It seems to be that it's Caicedo who obviously is sitting and breaking up play. Reece James quite often is playing in centre mid as well. Then Enzo is playing in kind of a number 10 role in the absence of Cole Palmer. So I do think he's a really good option. There is obviously this talk of him not being available for game week 8 because in South America he's got a game on, it's close to game week 8 or something. I wouldn't really prescribe to that. We've seen a lot of South American players play quite far away just a few days before and then still play on the Saturday, so I wouldn't personally worry about that too much. And then Joao Pedro, he's obviously a pretty big topic of discussion this week and has been for the last few weeks. So he has not been great in the last few weeks. In the last 3 Premier League games, he's only taken 1 shot. He's not got a goal, he's not got an assist, he has blanked, he's got 2 points in each of the last 3 games. So I completely get these people that want to sell him or don't want to go anywhere near buying him. The people that are wanting to sell him, like I say, I get it. I'm just not really sure where you're going at the moment. There isn't really an abundance of good forwards that you can move to. I mean, maybe someone like Mateta, but I'm not sure that his finishing is great at the moment. He's not exactly lighting things up. Again, like I say, there just isn't many forwards to go to. So I think if you've got Joao Pedro, you hold on to him. His best position isn't that number 9, of course. They need to get a striker back, which doesn't look like it's going to happen anytime soon, to be honest. I can't see him carrying on, getting almost no shots every single game, especially with these fixtures. Like I say, Forest is a gold mine. It's a fantastic fixture. Sunderland as well. Chelsea should be the dominant team in that game. Wolves, again, they should be the dominant team in that game. Same with Burnley. So, yes, I get that you might want to sell him, but if I were you, I would personally just keep him for now. Then the last team on the list is Newcastle. Now, they are a team that's been in very, very good form. The fixtures up next are Brighton, Fulham, West Ham, Brentford and then City. So not quite as good as the other teams above them. However, Newcastle have been in much better form. They've been performing much better. Now, Voltemada is a really popular one, obviously. He is probably the one player that you might sell Joao Pedro for, or might be looking to at least. He, again, similar to Calvert-Lewin, if you've watched any Newcastle games or Newcastle highlights, he could have scored so many goals in the last game. Newcastle are creating so many chances for him, so I really like him as an option. When Gordon's not on the pitch, Voltemada is obviously on penalties, as we saw at the weekend as well. I don't expect that to happen loads. I do think Gordon will play a lot of the minutes. However, he's still getting back up to fitness, so it's not necessarily going to be 90 minutes for Gordon all the time, as we saw at the weekend. And then obviously the defence has been performing really, really well for Newcastle. So Nick Pope, if you're on wildcard, I think he just makes sense as the goalkeeper to go for now. It would have been Raya a couple of weeks ago. He's gone up to 5.7 million, and I just don't think there's many good defender options from Newcastle at the moment. Like, they've got a load of centre-backs that can all play. Dan Burn looks like he's probably the most nailed, but sometimes he's shifted out to the left-back position. That means it's not as good for his defensive contributions. I think that you probably go with Nick Pope in goal and then use your Arsenal spots in defence. That's all for this one. These are the top 5 teams that you should be targeting if you're on wildcard, if you're using transfers. Make sure you check out rotowire.com/soccer. But for now, that's all. If you did like the video, do hit like, do subscribe, and we will see you in the next one.